Hey guys, welcome back to DMAC Customs on the YouTube. Dave here in the garage. Wiring, next stage. This go round we are going to be... Sorry, I just got distracted by something. Going to be starting to work out the gauges wiring part of the harness, which will be done in the initial sort of stage hookup, which will be this video, and then there'll be some engine bay stuff, maybe this video, maybe not. I was kind of thinking maybe I'd do all the engine bay stuff in one go, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, so we got our new vintage gauges that I bought probably 3.5-ish years ago, I guess, which will hopefully marry up the electronics from the Holly Terminator stuff and the kind of more standardized stuff, heat, oil, all that kind of stuff, temperature, oil, all that kind of thing. So anyway, let's get into it and I'll try and show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so these are my new vintage gauges. So they are an old school looking gauge with electronic doodadery and stuff involved in them. Basically that's it on the back, plugs and mounting stuff. Same over there, warranty void if I take it apart, so I don't intend on doing that. But here we have our miles per hour, oil pressure, water temp, cool, and we got a little odometer screen in there. We've got RPM and fuel and battery condition, so that's just voltage sort of thing. Actually this one has another little screen in it as well, and if I remember correctly, it's been a little while since I've read all the guff on them. They have provision, like with that second little odometer screen, you can have a speedo and you can change it to kilometers per hour, so it's got a little digital kind of kilometers per hour translator type of thing, or you can have your odometer displaying like your miles driven. The other screen you can have it set up to, I think you can do it so it's you can tell what gear you're in and stuff like that. I'll have to kind of dig in and work all that out when it comes to the programming side of it, but for today it's more about the wiring side of it, like connecting the wiring for these to the wiring harness for the Highway 15 American Autowire harness. So let's go and have a look at that side of it. We'll bring this with us. Okay, so this is my gauge connection kit. So there's a bunch of stuff in there. There's a couple of connectors and obviously some info, and this is a bunch of connectors. If you're doing more of your your component style gauges, I probably won't need a lot of this. Well, most likely won't need any of it, but and from there we have obviously all our wiring, which will go from our connectors. I think most likely this stuff goes into the engine bay. We'll have a proper look in a minute. And then we've got another couple of harnesses here, which will kind of join it all together. So some of this will just be straight plug-ins to some of the bits and pieces we've already got existing. The rest will be either going to the gauges or going into the engine bay, I would think. Okay, so just opened up the kind of packet for the first time. It's from the new vintage side of things. This is all the auto wire stuff. This is all new vintage for the actual gauges. It's just, these are adapter rings to fit it into the dash, brackets to hold them on, and this little kit is the LS kit, so I can plug my sensors in, and there's a little resistor in there too, which I think is for the tax signal, to get that to read right, or possibly the VSS signal. I'll have to check that again. But I hadn't opened that bag up until now, and here's my oil pressure canister sensor thing. There's no temp sender in there, so I thought it came as part of the kit. I'm sure it's listed in there, and of course I didn't check it however many years ago when I bought this. I probably could have had them send one out. It's still technically under warranty, but it has been a while, so they might not believe me if I call them up now and say, hey, there's a bit missing. But I can't find a parts list either in the gauges of what's supposed to be here in the instructions. So I'm going to have to source the actual temperature sender for this, which is a bit of a pain, but because they've got their own part number listed for this, and it's just a, I think it's just a standard temperature sender, but it's got to have the right resistance and stuff like that, and temperature range is 320 Fahrenheit, 500 ohms according to the little chart I found. But yeah, anyway, and so it comes with these two harnesses. They're exactly the same, so the colors on them are exactly the same for each gauge cluster, but one will be obviously for one gauge and one for the other, so I'll probably need to label those in some way so I don't get confused. I would have thought they would do them, you know, some different traces or something, but they're actually, both of these are identical. Not a big deal, just have to stay on point when I'm connecting things up, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, looking through the instructions, for the most part it's pretty straightforward. So yeah, basically let's just get into it. I'll start getting all my sort of stuff sorted for my under dash, and working out what's going where and how to connect what, and maybe chuck a couple of labels on these, just go, you know, speedo, tacho, because there's different stuff happening on either side of those. So I'll do that, and yeah, go from there. I'm bummed out about that sensor not being in there. I wasn't really planning on putting them in today anyway, but it would have been, you know, it's kind of a bit of a piss off, but now I have to go and source a a sensor or send away for one. It's only like, they're only like $16 US, but by the time I ship it, it'll probably cost me close to $100, you know, all the taxes and all that kind of stuff, whereas I could buy one locally for like 30. So I want to see if I can match it up and just get something locally. So battle for another day, but for right now I want to start getting this organized and figured out. Alrighty, so over at the bench, done some figuring and labeling. So I've labeled one of those as my speedo side, and then tacho side of my gauge clusters. I've also, so if that wears off, I've got a little scratched into there as well with a little T on it. I don't know if you can see it. Fellas with the big screen TVs might be able to see it. Big L. And an S on that one for the speedo. Since they're exactly the same, that's kind of weird, but doesn't matter, we'll work it out. So first step I'm going to do is the turn signal sort of stuff, and that's this part of the Highway 15 harness, and this part here is the kind of bit that plugs into the fuse block sort of thing through these two plugs here, and then it's just got a ground wire, so we can put that aside for now. We don't particularly need it. It's this bit here we want, because this is the bit that goes to these bits. So I'm going to cut a lot of this excess off, because I don't need a lot, because I mean the gauges will be there, and so we only kind of need a harness about so long coming off the back of the gauges, which will give us a bit of room to sort of tuck it up and out of the way, tie it off, and I'll leave enough of the wiring that it stays labeled on the Highway American Autowire harness, and then we'll be doing some soldering and heat shrinking and stuff like that to join them. I would have rather kind of just had the right pins and then maybe just terminated straight into these, but I don't. How many would I need? 4, and then these are all different as well. Those sort need 6 of those. Yeah, because then later on there'll be some of these wires will be getting tapped into this as well, which is VSS stuff. So essentially, yeah, both of these off the gauges will end up, some of the wires tied into this plug, if that makes sense. The rest, I don't know what, but we'll figure it out. We might just have to have some individual joiners, or I do have some other little plugs that I can put on, crimp on and stuff for you know, the other stuff, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I might just check, make sure I haven't got any. Oh no, I haven't got any of those. Okay, so cut a whole bunch of heat shrink, put it onto, or not a whole bunch, but a couple of pieces, put it onto my wires on this side. Now my light blue is my left turn dash, and my purple on this, which is my speedo harness, is my left turn indicator. So I haven't tinned all these yet, but I was wondering whether I could get away without it. A bit shaky today. Maybe I do need to tin them all before I try to solder them. We'll do that. Alrighty, so I've been through and tinned all of my wires on both that one and the other one. What did I just flick out of here? I don't know what it was. Got my spectacles on so I can see what I'm doing. So now I need the right turn, which is the grey wire. Well, it's happened to be right there. So set that into position. Maybe I need to give it a dab from both sides, I think, just to be on the safe side. There we go. And then we need my green wire, which is my high beam indicator. And my high beam indicator is my tan wire. Mamma jammer there. Double check. High beam, 12 volt, tan. Now we'll still be hooking up the grounds, but I'll do that when I start tying in this other harness, because there's a few bits where we've got power and grounds and that will all get kind of tied together. But so that's section done for now. I wonder whether I need to start bringing this stuff into the equation to tie into that stuff. Know what I'm saying? Oh, I'll heat shrink these and they are done. Right, what else we got? Right, so this is that other coiled up mess, which is now a tangled up mess. Now this is the gauge side of the plug. So I'm going to just cut this off now, get it down to the same length as that. So we kind of have all our plugs roughly in the same spot. I could offset it, but I don't think it's going to make a lot of difference. It'd kind of be better if they were all kind of roughly together, I reckon. So we'll chop that there and then try and untangle the rest. Just like that. That can go. Ground. Yep, that's it there. Just coil these up, get them out of the way for now. Well, I don't need these will be spares. This is the other side of the gauge, this is the car side, so this has got big long wires that go into the engine bay and to the fuel sender and to power. So some of these, like this pink wire, I think is our 12 volt ignition, so that'll only be quite short. But yeah, I'll coil that up, get that tidy againish. Put it aside. Oh god, what have I done? What's that? That. Just perfect. Right, so I'll strip these back and tin them all. Okay, next on the agenda is our water temp, which is this green wire there, and that matches up with our, according to the paperwork, temp signal green yellow. So that's that one there. There is another yellow. That one's soldered, so it's green. That's our temperature gauge. What else have we got on this one? Oil sender, which is on that harness, I think. Yep, so we won't do that just yet. So that's the blue. And then we've got ground. We won't do ground just yet. Grey is my dash lights. We need to link that with both harnesses. And same with that pink, which is our 12 volt. So the last one we can do on this plug at the moment is our fuel gauge. Tan, which it always is on these American Autowire kits, and now we have to match that up to his green, which is that mamma jamma there. Okay, so I'm just soldering in the programming buttons. There's two of them, one for each cluster, so I'm going to do one on each side of my harness that I'm building. I've got a ground on each of these, so I'm going to use one for one side and one for the other. Maybe if there's any problem with the grounds, it might make it a bit easier to troubleshoot them. Maybe won't make it any easier to solder them, that is for sure at the moment. And that, which is basically just an earth switch. So I've already done this brown wire to one end of it, and I've just got to see if I can get it to attach onto here and tie these two grounds together. That might work, balanced in there precariously. It does. I've got a nice big bit of heat shrink to come over there. Okay, so that's that one done. If I should put a bit of tape on that just to tie that out the way for now. Okay, so just uncoiled all of this other little coil of wires, and this is my we've got a coiled tack wire, VSS ground, and park lights and VSS signal. Now the VSS ground, I don't think that I need it. I think that's taken care of in the Holly side of things, but so I won't throw the wire away. I'll just kind of coil it up and put it aside for now. So we'll keep that neat and tidy here with the spears. And so over here, these three wires here, so this will be our VSS signal, which we just have to plug it into one of these into here, you know. Same with our park lights, which is essentially our dash light feed, and then we have that tack which will be coming into it on the other harness of our tack signal there, which will come from the Holly side of things as well, I think. So we can plug these in and then cut them down. So that'll be our, we should have put that next to the ground, I reckon. Which way does it go? That way? So that just plugs in, click, and we'll get our VSS signal, click, and then our park lights, click, and then we'll cut these three down to about the same as all the other ones, I guess, with my cutters. Strip them and we'll tin them. Tangled up mess. Okay, so that's our wires tinned. Now our speed signal is this mamma jamma here, I think. Orange speed signal, orange, yes. So put that into place. Okay, that's our speed signal hooked up. What else have we got? There's a couple of these wires on each of these harnesses that don't get used, so once we've figured out what they are, we can coil those off and cut them off or tape them up or whatever. But there's a few double ups on here as well, so little wires that get doubled together. Alright, what's next? Okay, so found my first mistake, right back at the beginning when I did my first wire, which I think was this one, the left turn. I soldered my violet wire onto here, which is not the correct wire. The correct wire is supposed to be the blue. And the violet on this side of the harness is unused. So just taking that off and doing it again. I don't know what I was thinking. So chuck a heat shrink on there. So what I was actually doing was just going through the leftovers and seeing what they were for, and then I found this blue wire and it said left turn, and it's like, what the? So check that, blue left turn. This was useless, by the way. It didn't last very long at all. Alright, time to start bringing in the double ups, I guess, and working that into this harness. So what I might do to start with on this, when I go through this side, is sort out all my double ups. Like, start with my 12 volt, which is going to be, I've already got a larger heat shrink on there, but that's my 12 volt power to the whole, both dash gauge, both gauge clusters sort of thing. So I need this red out of this speedo side, and I need the red out of the tack side. Get that out of the way so I don't melt it. So pink is my ignition, red 12 volt switched on both. Oh, what a mess. Okay, that's my 12 volt switched, hooked up. Where's my pen? I'm checking things off my list. That one there, and that one there. What else is a double up? We have our lighting, which is dash lights. Okay, next up is my dash lights. So that's my grey wire from my Highway 15 harness. Goes to my two white wires off my gauges. Hopefully that got them. Well, it's not pretty. Big blob on the back of it. Should be alright. Now there was this brown wire that I added in here, which is park lights, which has confused me because I don't need a park lights wire there, I don't think, unless it attaches into the dash lights to feed the park lights. I don't know, maybe it does. Maybe that's supposed to be in there as well. Don't know, I might solder that on there. Doesn't matter if I don't use it, because I won't just won't plug anything into the other end of it. We'll see. Maybe it's destined to not be in there. Okay, so changed my mind about that, adding that brown wire in there after soldering it on and stuff. It just didn't seem right. I've kind of been and had a look at different other parts of the kits and that, and it just didn't seem to fit in anywhere at the moment. We have running lights engaged in there, so, and on this little diagram here it's got dip switch going to these two white wires as well, but on all the other diagrams you can see it's been deleted for some reason, so I don't know, it shouldn't, dip switch shouldn't be hooked in here because it's already taken care of on the the Highway 15 harness. You know what I mean? Oh, heady stuff. It's getting confusing now, boy. So I think that purple is redundant. So now I've done those double ups, I've got to do my earths off my grounds, I will call them, which is that one, and I've got to add in another one of these little switches here, I think. That's going to be my ground for that side of the harness, and then my ground for this side of this switch. Get that a good dab. Glasses back on so I can actually see. Don't move, don't move. Take that out of there, and we can heat shrink that. And then we get the other side of this, we'll do that now, which will go to, I need a bit of heat shrink for it, brown on this harness, which is my tack harness. So where is it? Come on, get out of there. There he is, brown out of there. Get that, do that joint. Took that off my list. Alright, so dark blue, this on this particular harness is my oil pressure, and it goes to yellow, that mamma jamma there, done. Okay, so that's our tack signal from our highway going to our tack signal from our new vintage. So it's our purple on our tack side of the harness. Soldering. Heat shrinking. Right, what next? I've coiled up all these wires here. Like there's an auxiliary 1, orange not used, grey is a warning 12 volt plus, blue is a red warning 12 volt plus, and green is an auxiliary 2. So that gives me a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there should be 5 wires in there, and I've got 6. Hang on. Okay, missed one. There's actually 6 wires, and I have got 6, so that's good. Now on the other harness, I've got some leftovers as well, so that should be my violet and orange should be, oh no, violet and yellow. That should be it. So they're leftovers, so I don't know. So that's, other than that, which I'm not sure about, that's it. That's my dash harness. Looks good, eh? Yeah, nice job. Alright, I'll try and make some sense out of this now. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is kind of take this up into a loom, but I'll leave these auxiliaries and that exposed out of the loom, and I'll probably just maybe put a little bit of heat shrink over the ends of them just to kind of cover them up. But for now it's just really to kind of tidy all this up, and I'll cut these zip ties back off once I've kind of got it to a neat and tidy-ish sort of stage. So hopefully they're long enough to come down. It should be alright. And then yeah, then that's our dash loom done. Hopefully I've got it all right. Okay, so that's my dash harness. As I said before, I'm just putting these redundant wires out here just in case I can or need to pick up on them at some point, and I've just put a little bit of red heat shrink over them just to make it easier to find in the dark, I guess. And my little programming buttons, I think I've got a spot for those under the dash. They should work out alright. Don't know which is which now though, but that'll be easy enough to figure out, maybe when it comes to programming time. I could probably do that with the continuity test for the earths, because I put them on different earths, didn't I? So I can do that. I'll figure that out. I've got spectacles. My ground wire is in terminal F, so if I stick that in there, and my ground wire is in up there. And that won't tell me that anyway, because the ground's going to be it's got to go to brown. Ah, that's right. Dumbass. So it's got to go. Okay, so I've got a prong in one of the earths on there, and a little metal thing in there. So this going to the program wire, which is the brown wire. So this is the tack side, so I might put a little label on here. I'll check the other side while I'm at it, so I'll take that one, put it into there, and that should, I'll have to switch that over to that other ground over there. Do a balancing act with this one, because yeah, so that's speedo side. So tack, where's my white pencil? There it is. So that's tack, speedo. Don't have to do this, it just makes it a bit easier later when I come to put this in, which I'll probably do that today actually. Okay, so back over at the car, pardon me, got my Harry Flash little harness here and that other little bit there just piled up, but don't really need to do much with that at the mo. It's more this now, which is what plugs into there, which is we've got our kind of one of our earths, and one of them there's an earth on that one as well. That's right, yeah. So we've got two earths that we need to terminate and find somewhere to bolt them down to. The green and blue wires, they're going to go up the front. They're going to be my oil and temp senders, and then our earth and our dash lights will just get plugged in to that little grey plug that we've got hanging up under there, and the tan wire is our fuel gauge sender wire, which is going to have to go all the way down the back with all of that stuff, and this pink wire is just our 12-volt ignition wire. So that being said, I'm going to cut off the excess because I don't need anywhere near that much. Just get that out of the way, because you get all these big long wires, it's great to have, but you do get quite tangled up in them. There's some light on the subject. I'll get these two wires feeding through, get rid of them. My wiring hole there. And there we go. How much is there? A little bit more. Oh, got a mess of stuff down here now, boy. Right, so I've pulled them too far through, but so I've got to figure out where I want that to go to plug into my dash harness, because that has to plug in there. I was thinking it would come up over the top, and we'll kind of have all my plugs in around this area here-ish, I suppose. And then that'll come back over and go down the back. Yeah, I mean I could, nah, yeah, I'll bring it over this side. We got space up and around here for plugs and stuff like that, so I'll bring it up over the top of the pedal assembly, I reckon. And yeah, so I'll do that. It's pretty hard to film up under the dash, but yeah, I'll run it and yeah. Alright, so just hooking up that pink 12-volt key for the gauges. Pinch it up good and tight. Yep. Ah, wrong plug. Duh. So, what am I trying to plug in? I've got to plug in that. Get it around the right way. And then my dash lights, which are, I don't know where they gone. I'll plug in this green thing instead. And I think the dash lights must be, oh yeah, these two just get plugged into my dash harness. So where's my grey wire? That must be on the dash harness, is it? Where is it? Dash harness gone. Where is that grey wire gone? That's got to get plugged in. I'm sure that just plugs into something. I just don't know what anymore. Brain fade. It's ridiculous. Oh, I've got that earth wire going over the wrong way. Damn it. Alrighty, so I found that other grey wire. It was still kind of hanging up over the top of there somewhere. I've just kind of connected everything other than the actual harness that we did all the soldering and stuff on. And I've put my two earths up on there. I forgot to put heat shrink on them, but it doesn't really matter, they're just earths or grounds. And kind of been getting a little bit zip tie happy, just trying to tie things up out of the way, stop it all hanging down and getting in my face so I can see what I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? You know, you get up that close and there's things like waving around in front of your eyeballs and you just, it's hard to tell what's going on, you know. But what are we up to now? Oh, I can probably plug that in now and make sure that it does go where I want it to go. It's going to go like that, you know, those are going to poke out of those two big round holes there, and it'll plug into the harness, and then these will run the little program switches down. Like I said, we may tap into some of this stuff to do with the Holly stuff, but I don't think so. I kind of don't think so. I think everything, I mean, yeah, because the gauges can be programmed to give you your, you know, select the thing, you know, drive, reverse, park, all that kind of stuff. I don't really know how that works. There's not a lot in the wiring diagrams on how to get the inputs for that, but I may look into it a bit further yet, because yeah, I kind of wouldn't mind having something like that. We have to have that for certification, some sort of thing for certification, whether it be in the console, but some kind of like gear selector indicator to let you know what gear you're in. On the manual side of it, it won't tell you what side you're in on the automatic side of it, if that makes sense, you know. Like if you manually select, you know, first, second, drive, whatever, you know, drive 2, overdrive, whatever, you need to be able to see it for some reason. I don't really know why, but that's one of the new cert rules. You ain't going to keep them happy as much as you can. I'm not sure if that's entirely possible, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Anyway, we'll plug this in and then see where all that's going to land. Alright, so that one goes up into there, like so. That one goes up into there, like so. And I've got my two main cables are just hanging out of the holes at the moment. Now these two switches, these are earth switches, so we're going to go the tack side, which I'm going to put out this hole here, which is from the old handbrake, I think. Hopefully I don't need them anymore. So that'll come down from the top, if I can figure out where it is. For some reason there's got 2 washers. I don't want 2, I just need 1. Damn it. Yeah, I'll probably do away with the washers. I don't think there's enough room. Now it doesn't want to screw on. Great. Alright, it does work. And that's the speedo side. So I'm putting them in the same order as they appear in the dash, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, speedo's on the left, speedo buttons on the left. Why'd that one go on so nicely? When its little cousin here didn't want to play. Alrighty, so this is a 5152 car GA 2-mount adapter kit, 3D printed anti-rattle eyebrow adapters and spacers optional, which is these things here. And I was just looking at it and I just thought they I actually had no idea how they worked, whether I even needed them, but it looks like we take the old eyebrow off the old gauges, and this little ring just sits in there like so, and then the new eyebrow sits over the top and somehow is held in place. So I guess first step is to take these eyebrows off and have a look and see how it's all going to work. To be honest, I'm not sure. Okay, so looking at this, it looks like I should be able to just gently work that back. There's a number of these bent over bits all the way around. I didn't actually realise I was using any of this stuff off the old gauges, but there you go. Maybe one more. Whoop, crikey. There we go. Okay, so that's how you get them off. They just need a real good clean up now, I guess. Maybe straighten them out a little bit more. Just notice this one's got a dent in there. Okay, the top is that there, with that little piece like that in there. So that's the top, just in case you're wondering. Alright, got most of that dent out. I wouldn't say it's not perfect, but I think for the amount of it that's actually going to be seen, it should be alright. But so I'm just going to give them a bit of a polish up. They got a bit of overspray and that on them. Obviously they were masked at some point when the dash was painted, and all that kind of light blue and dark blue was put on there, if you remember that, if you go back that far. There's bits of rubber still in there too. These are real thin. I don't know if they're chrome or anodized or what, but they're pretty thin steel or whatever they are, whatever they're made of. See the overspray on there? Just trying to get that off. And then I'll give them a bit of a clean up with some auto sol as well. They're actually cleaning up pretty good, just with black thinners, but I'll give them a proper polish as well. Alrighty, so this is how these little doohickeys work, I think. Well, that's not very nice, is it? If I should trim that off. I've got a knife over here. Well, these are 3D printed apparently, but you can see that, but there's got a little bit on the thin side, so I'm just going to whip that off. You can't really see them, these pieces, at all, But yeah, I don't want that kind of light sticking out like that, then you will see it. Uh-oh, now I'm in trouble. That didn't work. I'll just get it. Just get rid of that. Yeah. One thing after another. So that just goes on there like that. And this bit, where's my top? Top, that just sits on top like that, and it's the pressure of it holding it up under the dash is what holds it. And then this bit, I don't know which way this will go. Picture's not really terribly clear. That way, or does it go the other way? I don't know. Maybe that way. And then these, oh hang on, I've got missing a couple of nuts. Okay, so this time, I'm not sure exactly, doesn't really specify what to do, but I've decided to run a nut down first, and then I'll put this doohickey on, washer, spring washer, nut, and I'll kind of just pinch those up. Actually, I should try and figure out the alignment of that thing. It goes that way, like that. Maybe I'll just pinch those up, and then I'll run up the nut underneath. Now the tricky part, can I get them in the dash? Now that I've realised that they have to be put in from the inside, and I've got all that wiring and the pedal assembly and all of that stuff in there, putting these in might now be trickier than I anticipated, so we may have some disassembly involved to get these in. Okay, so for some reason I had it in my head that these went in from the outside in. I don't know why, but that's not going to be the case, and there's no way I can get the speedo in with everything that's in place. So I think I'm going to have to remove the fuse panel, just drop it down, just let it hang, and just sort of slide this up underneath and do that. The other side I might be just alright with just pushing wiring and that around to get to it, so I'll just quickly drop that fuse panel and hopefully not mess anything up. Okay, so got that fuse panel down out the way. I've got to get my flash new wiring harness out the way, get all this out the way. Let's see, get up in there easily-ish. Oh, I've got switches and all sorts of shit in the way now. Choice. Uh-oh, I don't know which is the top. Oh, it goes that way. That's the top. This is the best looking way. It's probably more to the point. Uh-oh. Okay. Light switch in the way. Oh, come on. I did it on the wrong way anyways. I wonder if I should have glued this on. Why doesn't it want to fit? Okay, this is probably a real flattering look, but I got it all up like this, up in here, like all up in my dash, you know, but the adapter plates and that are kind of sitting flush and on the studs and stuff, but I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this, but do some knee gimbal. The anti-rattle thing ain't gonna stop no rattling. We've got like an 1/8 of an inch of play in that bezel that just wants to rattle around and be a rattly thing. So stalled, I have to figure out or devise a way of stopping that from being a rattle thing. And find my horn centre that I just knocked off. Yeah, put that back on there. Isn't that tight? Don't know. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, they look cool, but that's no good. That's way too loose. So I'll have to figure out something to soak up that clearance thing. You know what I'm saying? Head's not really in it today. Anyway, I'll try and figure something out. Okay, sorry, the back of my head. Just kicked the jack. Managed to not damage my toe too badly, but I'm wondering whether if I made a thick rubber that sits over the top of this part between the dash, it means the bezel won't come out of the dash as far, but yeah, it's kind of the only way. Is it? Hang on, I've got to think about this. Okay, so I think I have an idea. If I can space out between the gauge bezel and this adapter, basically pushing the adapter back, it'll push the front of the gauge forward in relationship to the mounting points. Whether that'll be enough or not, I don't know. I don't know what else I've got that I could use to, you know, space that out. Try a bit of this rubber, see what happens. I'll make one and see how it goes. So, cut me one of them. Alrighty, what have I done with? I'm missing a bit. Oh god, can't win. Is that what I did? I can't remember. Hang on, I've got to go and get another bit. Okay, got it. Left this bit on the bench. What I've got to do before I go too far is find my white pencil, and I've got to get my top on this. Right, marked my top on there, so that's my top. Right, where's my glasses gone? I'll need them in a minute. Okay, what I've done is I cut that rubber piece, I put it on in between the gauge bezel thing and this bracket. God, brain fade today, boy, I tell ya. So put all this back together that way. Okay. Okay, so crikey. Problem I was having before, even though it wouldn't fit and stuff, was getting the bezel to sort of sit in place. This beauty ring type of thing. And I had an idea that I could just tape it on with this fancy loom tape, which is kind of a fibrous sort of tape, not a plastic tape, you know, vinyl tape. So do a couple of laps of that, keeping it back from the edge so it doesn't kind of end up visible at all. And that might help with any rattle and stuff like that. I've already done the speedo and that is fairly snug now, I reckon, and that means I don't have to kind of try and hold it all together. It won't rattle against itself at the very least. There's a little bit of movement there still, but hopefully that spacer is enough to, when we pull it in, it'll friction fit it even tighter. But let's put it in and find out. Yeah. Right, where can I, here's the hole there, so if I come up over the top of my ignition wiring, can I do this? Will it work? Hang on, this is top. Something's catching it, I don't quite know what, but it's close. There, so I've got to get them up onto there. That bottom one's on, it must be this other one, which is really, really hard to get to. Especially because somebody put a column dropper thingy in the way. I don't know how I'm going to get to that. Oh yeah, it's on the hole I think, but yeah, oh, not quite. Oh, there we go. Beauty. How am I going to get to that one? Oh, she's going to be fiddly because it's right up in there. You can see that little finger there. Alright, I'll get some nuts on that. And I'll struggle on my neck. I'll struggle and I'll get that one on there. Maybe should have done that one first. I don't know. I'll get these done up and then we'll update when we get that far. Okay, so back out again. I just had to cut down this aluminium bracket thing, clamp, because it was fouling up with my pedal assembly thing, which is not bad going because I'm pretty sure I have never even tried test fitting the gauges when I built the pedal assembly thing. So I'll just put this back in again and then we'll try and bolt it up. Okay, so both those gauges in and a little bit of movement but not rattle movement. That's back up. I actually spent a bit of time like tidying up some of the wiring that goes up over the top of the pedal assembly, just because I was in there and I've got the gauges in now and I'm not going to be able to reach through and do it, which is what I was planning on doing, and I'm glad I kind of, well, I think I'm glad I put the gauges in now, because the amount of stuff in that in there, it was actually quite tricky to do. I did get all the bolts, pretty quad bike, I did get all the bolts on all the gauges on the back. I just fluked it and managed to get that real tricky one, which was right in about there, with a bit of a reach around, if you get what I'm saying. No, not like that. But last thing I've got to do now is actually plug them in, because I pulled these out the way to get the gauges in and then I just realized that they're still there. So that's going to be a bit tricky to do, but even trickier to film, I think. So I'll just get those plugged in. I'll fight with that for probably the next hour and then we'll be back. Hey guys, well, gauges are in, wiring is all back up in place. I can't remember what I was doing last. Oh, I got the gauges plugged in. The speedo was really tricky to get in, plugged in, because of my pedal assembly bracketry stuff, but just enough. You know, there's no kind of rubbing or anything now that it's plugged in, but getting it plugged in, you have to kind of do all this and get hand cramps and all that kind of stuff, but it's done. So that's all plugged in. I did a little bit more of a, not a huge tidy up, but just kind of like pulled things around and put a few more zip ties on and cut a few off and things like that up under the dash, just to kind of start tidying it up. Still don't want to kind of pin it all together properly just yet until I have kind of got through more of it. Like I've got still got more dash stuff What happened with that? Oh, VSS signal stuff. What did I do with that? I can't remember now. I don't know. I don't know what I did with it. It's been one of those days. Been one of those fortnights actually. I haven't worked on the car for 2 weeks since my last stint here. I was away last weekend. Actually away for a week. Yeah, it was a rough week, but I don't know really what else to say. I don't know what I've done, what I ended up doing with the VSS. Oh, that's right, I've just got to plug it in. Once the wiring's in that box now. It was in that box, now it's in that box. And once I get onto the Holly side of things, then I just have to plug it in there. Yeah, it's already terminated. I've just got to cut the wire, join it to the Holly stuff and into there. Maybe 2 wires. I'm not sure yet. If you know, let me know. Not going to do the Holly stuff just yet. I might next up go into the engine bay and start sorting out some more of this stuff, getting it routed, and even some of the lights and earths and stuff all kind of put in and terminated and things like that. Yeah, so but just to start tidying up that, or should I carry on and get all the underdash stuff with the Holly done? But then I'll have all the Holly harness dumped in the engine bay, making things more confusing. Nah, I've got under engine bay stuff to do. I've got to get that sensor, or get a sensor to suit the gauges. I'm really disappointed that they didn't come with that. I thought they did. I could be wrong though. I could have misread, or maybe it wasn't sent, or maybe it fell out of the box and the shuffling shit around in there. I don't know, but it's not there. I don't have it, not that I know of anyway. But yeah, so that's where I'm going to leave this video. As always, thanks for watching and supporting the channel, you know, following along with this build. Some of this electrical stuff's a little bit heady for me, and some of it's real straightforward, but yeah, it's just sort of, you know, getting it right, following the instructions. The instructions are generally pretty good with American Autowire. This new vintage gauges, pretty happy with how everything's looking with that, other than the fitment kit that I paid dearly for what it was, that didn't really sort of do what it was supposed to do and make those things fit properly. It was an anti-rattle thing, and it's just not quite big enough, like deep enough sort of thing. So, but they may have revised that now. As I say, it was 3 or so years ago that I bought these gauges, so time will tell as to how good they are, or time will tell as to how good I've done my wiring and stuff. This all could be coming back out yet, troubleshooting and shit. I hope not. But yeah, as I said, so we're going to leave this video. Don't forget, we're on Instagram, Facebook, DMAC Customs on both. And as always, thanks for watching. Till next time, take it easy and peace.